It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome in to the Daily Doug. I'm happy to have you here. Today, I am taking a day off. It is a well-deserved one, if I do say so myself. We've been hitting the pavement really hard through the first quarter plus of this year. And as a church musician as well, we got to Easter. And so this week, the week after Easter, I'm taking a little bit of time away and resting and relaxing. And so I was trying to figure out how I can keep up with the pace and demand that y'all expect here on the Daily Doug and share something special with you while I'm away. Well, this is going to be a throwback episode, but this is going to be a sneak peek at an entire Extended Play Lounge episode. We do Extended Play Lounge videos on our Patreon. We do 2 of them each month, and these are full album reactions. We're now, I think, almost to 90 episodes in this one series, and all of these videos are available on my Patreon. So back in August of last year, I reacted to Paragraph 1 from Opeth, which was a pre-release, the first track from their upcoming album, which was The Last Will and Testament. Well, the album came out in November, and in December, we featured it in the Extended Play Lounge. I listened to the entire album in one sitting, and it's one take from beginning to end, just like you are accustomed to. And it's been just available there as an exclusive thing for our patrons for the last several months. And I thought, the Opeth fans have been asking for this album, and I thought, it's my birthday month. I'm taking a little bit of time off. The Opeth fans, y'all deserve to hear my take on this wonderful, wonderful album. So before I let you see the video, I want to just make a plug for my Patreon. It is patreon.com/Doug Helvering. It is a wonderful community, if I do say so myself, y'all. Not only do you get access to all of our videos, we have not only these Extended Play Lounge full album listens, I do behind the score analysis videos. I do countdown style fan favorites videos each month. Those are ones where we pick a genre or a topic and everybody puts in their submission, and then we vote on it and we feature each of the top several submissions on a monthly basis. It's wonderful. I've shared many of these videos from Patreon over here on YouTube in the past. This is where they come from. If you happen to be interested in joining us at our top tier, which is the Council of Dougs, then you get special access to myself and to Megan. We have monthly Zoom hangouts where we just hang out for a couple of hours. We discuss the latest music news, the latest stuff on the channel, and we get to know each other. We've developed wonderful friendships with our council members over these years, and that's available to y'all monthly. We also have our Doug on Demand Zoom sessions, and these are just really a load of fun. Nothing but music, and we spin a wheel that randomly picks one of the people in the Zoom, and they're like, "All right, Doug, here's this one," and it's an instant reaction. And we do those often, at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. There's a very active Discord that is purely focused on music, the joy of music, and the sharing of it between folks. And I couldn't be happier that this little community has sprung up in the last few years. But if you are looking to hang out in such a community that is kind of a safe haven from what all is going around in the world. It's a haven for me, and I hope that you will join us over there. It's patreon.com/Doug Helvering. Okay, y'all. So, Opeth fans, this is going to be the last will and testament, my reaction to their entire album. This is going to be Extended Play Lounge episode 81, which I filmed back in December of 2024. Enjoy. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug for what is going to be our Extended Play Lounge episode number 81. The 81st edition of the Extended Play Lounge. We are getting back to Opeth today, my friends, and Opeth has won in another very close poll. They barely beat out David Gilmour with his newest album in our latest poll, where we were putting forth all of these great albums from 2024 up against each other. And The Last Will and Testament from Opeth is the album that has won. I'm happy to get back to these guys here. I love a good story. I love a good story album, and that's what we're going to get today. I've looked through the lyrics a couple of times. I've tried to understand the concept of the story, and it's a real interesting one, friends. There's a lot of facets to this. It's very erudite, in my opinion, and I think it's going to be a worthy hour plus for us here in the Extended Play Lounge. So let's dive in, shall we? This album, The Last Will and Testament, was released on November 22nd, and it was recording back during February and March of this year. This is their 14th album, and it's their first since 2019, which is the longest period of time in the band's tenure between albums. So it's a very looked to, anticipated album from Opeth. And in this album, we get, like I said, an integrated story and concept. I think that the Wikipedia entry on this is quite concise, so I'm just going to read it for us, y'all. The album is a concept album set in post-World War I, unfolding the story of a wealthy conservative patriarch whose wife is infertile, whose last will and testament reveals shocking family secrets. The album begins with the reading of the father's will in his mansion. Among those in attendance are three siblings. We get twin boys and a young girl. The girl, who despite being an orphan and polio-ridden, has been raised by the family. Her presence at the will reading raises suspicions and questions among the twins. The twins happen to be the result of a donor procreation. During the reading of the will, the twins find out that they are not related to the patriarch, and consequently they are left out of the will. Okay, so the girl is comes out. Hang on. The girl is the patriarch's only child by blood. Okay, the girl is the patriarch's child, not the twins, and it is revealed that she is his true heiress, although she is the daughter of the patriarch's maid. Okay, so all sorts of stuff is happening here. Nearly all the songs on the album start with the section symbol and a Roman numeral next to it in their title, except for the closing track, A Story Never Told. This was explained by the frontman and main person behind this, Michael Arkefeld. He says the lyrics are like the reading of the Testament itself. That's why the songs don't have titles, just paragraph 1 and 2, and then all the way down to 7. So the album has been well received so far. The feedback that I have seen is interesting, because on one hand we get people saying how they like that it's a callback to previous albums, at least in sound and style. We get a return of Michael's vocal growls, these kind of guttural screams that we haven't seen in a long time. And we also get feedback on how this album expands their more recent sounds, where they've been a little more influenced by progressive rock and not like death metal. Okay? So they're not only satisfying the fans of their old school stuff, they are satisfying the fans of their new school stuff, and they're doing it in one concept album. So I've got high expectations for this, y'all. I'm expecting it to be quite riveting, and it's got a lot to live up to. So, like I said, let's dive in. We have 8 tracks, and the album clocks in at about 51 minutes. Michael is the composer and the lyricist for all of the music that we are going to hear. He plays guitars, he sings lead, he's on mellotron, percussion, and some effects. Martin Mendez is on the bass and backing vocals. Frederick Akison is on guitars and backing vocals. Joachim Svalberg is on a whole bunch of keyboards, piano, Hammond organ, mellotron, Fender Rhodes, a Moog synthesizer, and he also sings backing vocals. Valtteri Väyrynen is on drums and percussion and backing vocals. They also bring in Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull as a guest flautist on 4 different tracks. They also have some string arrangements included here. Dave Stewart arranged the music for strings, and the London Session Orchestra provided the playing. So let's get to it, y'all. I got to make sure that my phone is not going to go off while I'm doing this. Turn off. Do not disturb. Okay. Made sure I do that. So, paragraph 1 is where we start. And I've actually heard this, y'all. This was the first single. And I heard this on the channel. And it really wet my whistle for what this album is going to be. This starts out with our patriarch, the Last Will and Testament being begun to be read. And the lyrics kind of read that way. The patriarch here is going to be lamenting some of his life's choices and preparing the family for a confession of sorts as we start. So let's get to it, y'all. Here is paragraph 1 from Opeth's Last Will and Testament. Here we go. They're walking in. And off we go. So a syncopated 3. And a lot of color over the top of that D. Really cool. It's got that sinister feel to it. And it's because of that tritone, that unstable interval. So, the voice of the patriarch is a little bit demonic. The last will and testament of Father. It's got to be Mellotron. And a big chord. I love that little section, allows it to breathe a little bit. Major chord. Enacted grief. Right there in black and white, friends.
Put your trust in my command. I thin the blood.
Put your trust in my command. I thin the blood. I lift my hand. So that's an F sharp down to an F, to a C sharp, down to an E, all over D. The sound of children playing and a lonely oboe. Is this a callback to earlier time? Resolves to major 1, then back to the minor 1. Major to minor. Resolves back, it changes the do, it goes back to D. And we hear the people just kind of murmuring and bustling around the news of what's happening here in the story. So that's our introduction, friends. That I've heard before, and it was good to hear it again. I'm eager to continue on this story to see where it goes. Michael has said, though, about this particular song, or the project in general, he says, I've become quite interested in family and the idea that blood is not always thicker than water. I became interested in how family members can turn on each other. I saw an interview with this guy whose family had all turned against him over the inheritance. So I wrote a song about that on the last record. The idea stuck with me, and then along came the TV show Succession, and I loved that series. That was in the back of my head as well. I felt it felt like an interesting topic that you could twist and turn a little bit. Also reminds me a bit of Knives Out, the movie that the mystery movie that came out a few years ago. Again, all over the matter of the inheritance and what's going to happen, you know, and it's the patriarch of the family that is facing his last days, and the family is kind of gathering, seeing where everything's going to fall. And So let's keep going, y'all. Paragraph 2, we're going to be diving in. It's not the introduction anymore, and we are into our patriarch's story here. And it's going to force his family to start to confront this facade of reality that has been constructed around the family by him. And this could lead to disaster and discord in the family, or they could, embrace forgiveness and have a new beginning. Who knows? Let's find out. So paragraph 2, let's do it, y'all. Let's, do I have it? Okay, here it is. Paragraph 2, off we go. And it can, okay, that's a continuous idea then. Welcome back to this episode of Masterpiece Theater. Okay. That's the 5. Dreadful daughter of wretched martyr, sick to marrow and to bone, your fevered mother would care and bother and love her like one of her own.
It is through him we can distinguish right from wrong. A penurious handmaid gave birth to a girl in our care. We are compelled to persevere in place of the estranged father.
That's the words of the daughter. Interesting. We are compelled to persevere in place of our estranged father until his return. I think he's returning. That is a discordant harmony. Love the Fender Rhodes. It's got so much color. Major.
Snow made white the street of her dreams.
Interesting.
And on that night I offered said
Through these words I extend my hand to salvation. And this writ may overturn the rich and reward the poor. You have learned my blood has flown to clandestine horns, and I reject predestined wealth in the
lyrics are really erudite, right? They don't read like lyrics, they read like prose. Rising tide of sorrow. I just can't get over how it went to a major key. Oh, that's like flat 2. Oh, and that one ends. Whew. Okay, what's going on here? Quite a bit. So he's let's see, lyrics: a child in the night, cursed to survive, love like quicksand, and deflowered maid in tow. So the maid has had a child who is cursed but will survive. A dreadful daughter of wretched martyr, sick to marrow and to bone, your fevered mother would care and bother and love her like one of her own. So his wife, who is sterile, and him take in this child who was born to the maid and love her like one of their own. Okay? But bestowed upon my weary head was a secret. Your mother was dying faster, and by my penance and disarray, her ruin looking on a delinquent's confession. Death, her bane and protector, placidly waited neath the scorching moon for yield, a descendant daughter. And then it changed to major. Snow made white the streets of her dreams, and on that night I authored said theme, and it goes on from there. Really interesting. So here we move on to paragraph 3, friends, and in this song we're going to get a further confession from our patriarch, especially about this heiress and the truth of her conception and birth. And again, this is, I think, a cathartic act by the patriarch. He's trying to come clean, too late, but he's trying to come clean and set things up for where he thinks the family should go. And it's a source of disillusionment and pain, I think, for the family, but for him, it's redemptive, practically. And so we get lots of dynamics and emotions that are running through everybody here. So let's continue on, friends. This is going to be paragraph 3. Off we go. Love those unisons. That's really cool. This is rad. love the strings in here. They're really providing the lyrical and melodic stuff when the melody with all the guttural stuff sort of breaks down. That's Ray. Hereditary cornucopia. Tritone. Silent curtsy, tearful bliss. God bless you. What is going on?
Carnal shame, a secret treaty, the lovers bond.
And an accented half cadence. Okay, paragraph 3. Lots going on there, y'all. This is thick stuff. It's really layered, isn't it? It's got a lot going on. So did he make a deal with the maid, with the girl's mom? That's what I'm looking at. All was still when I broke the seal. In dwindling winter morning shades, I knew a ransom must be paid out. Okay. She pursue my gaze on her, a dance within a masquerade, the servant's ransom culled and laid out, hereditary cornucopia. This dire desire for wealth, lure of a prosperous well. This is the spot that really got me. Disfigured child won't die young. The hearts of us all she has won. But you must leave here. So that's in a quote in the lyrics. So the disfigured child, it's got to be the girl, right? Won't die young. So she has an affliction, but she's not going to die young from it. She's won the hearts of the family. But you, meaning her mom, the maid, must leave here. And then it says, silent curtsy, tearful bliss, God bless you. And then I think the mother leaves and makes a deal. Carnal shame, a secret treaty, the lovers bond. And that allows the girl to become the families and not the maids. Right? Whew. That's amazing, friends. So on to paragraph 4. We got to keep going. And we're going to get further into the story here. And I think in this one, the twin boys are going to be revealed specifically as illegitimate and lose their claim to their inheritance and their identity. All the while, the girl, who the family has for all these years regarded as an outsider, emerges as the true heir to the family's wealth. Okay, so lots of stuff I think is going to happen here in paragraph 4. Let's get to it. Off we go. Okay. More of those interesting scale passages. It really binds together everything, keeps everything in the same universe, in the same story. That's a cool move, y'all, musically. Birthed a controversial plan. And it hints major. That's a fascinating sound. I think that's an ancient style of guitar. I was reading about Michael using one of those. I can't remember what it's called. Longing for a child, my love for her birthed a controversial plan. We get this that emerges. There's Ian's flute. Those chords are moving by a tritone. So that sounds like it's in B flat. diminished chords. It's like they're using death metal sounds like a prog band would. You know what I mean? I think that's where they hit people who love their old stuff and people who love their new stuff. It sounds like the old stuff, but it's being musically treated like the new stuff. Drums are thunderous. It's like there's shards of sound, and what is real and what isn't. Where is home base? Where are we centered? Where's our foundation? It's unmoored a bit. I use that word often. It's the best one I've come to understand when I'm talking about music that disguises its own foundation. It just kind of drifts. You could have sounds that work together, but it doesn't really plant its flag anywhere and then have standing to go here. It's a sea, for lack of a better word. Longing for a child, my love for her birthed a controversial plan. And then the ending here, I need to hang on to these words one more time. Her eye on him, once so ordinary, soon in nameless grave. Okay. The bane of my existence, sordid flesh communion, gold in mouth, he impregnates. Okay. Swallowed my shame like a man of affairs, lineage and name still fast in my prayers. I really don't know, y'all. I don't know exactly where he's going at the end of that. But what I'm getting here, we're about halfway through. Okay? That's 4 songs. We've got 4 more to go. So, especially in this time period, which is post-World War I, okay? The inversion of the traditional gender roles regarding inheritance, this switching. No, it's not the. So you go into it thinking, oh, it's twin boys. Which one's he going to choose? How do you split up an inheritance between twins? You know, there's lots of stories in history about that sort of inheritance struggle. But here he's like, no, both of you, you're out. It's the girl, right? This is the time of the suffrage movement. And things are changing rapidly in society. That tends to happen when war just usurps everything, right? So this, I think, is a pretty pointed social commentary on the traditional structures of societal and familial wealth and privilege and all of that. That being said, I'm left wondering what's going to happen, right? How is the family going to respond, especially the boys? How are they going to respond to being told, you're out, dudes, you know? Hasta la pasta. Don't get any on you, right? Hasta lasagna. Don't get any on you. That's the word. Let's, for lack of a better word, turn the record over and get to the last bit of it, y'all. This is paragraph 5, and with this one, we're moving further on. Let's see what the hell is gonna happen. Off we go. Combinations of major and minor.
Darkness waning slowly, a cold enigma, moving forward. Oh, hapless life, now I pledge to you all secrets revealed now.
Solves all over a D, I think. Trust me. Boy, they've got these rhythms and meters down, and the melodies that go with them. That tritone is consistently in the texture. These are really cool sections. I wish that they could have left some of the lyrics out and expounded on some of the lick that they're up to a little bit more. They've got time. They don't have to stick all of the words in. To that point, it's staying on task, pushing the story forward. This is righteous. Combinations of Eastern style melodies. I think this is the Twins speaking. Not in there. Yeah, so the lay is from minor, the fee is from Lydian. Okay. Over time, you will kneel. It's like twins. You're not going to be knelt too. You're the ones that are going to be kneeling. Uprooted you are. Of a will, the crowning of an heiress. Okay. Down by half step. It's interesting. Fading out? It's gonna fade out. I think these lyrics here at the very end are pivotal in the story, and they're almost just kind of an afterthought musically. And that's, of course, going to bleed into the next thing. Yeah, these last words. You are tethered to command, a requiem devised and signed by hand. So you are tethered to command. What does that mean? It's a message from him to the daughter, saying that she is now tasked with leadership, and she's got to carry the weight of the family's responsibility going forward. And it's not an option. She can't escape it. It's a responsibility that that has been bestowed upon her, and there's nothing she can do about it. Right? Even if she wanted to run, I don't think she could. So you are tethered to command of the family, or to power, or to control, or as a matriarch, And then a requiem devised and signed by hand. This is the handing over of control from the patriarch to the daughter. And, it means that this will is his own literal farewell to his wealth and his standing and his power and all of that. So it's like the Pope resigning, It's taking a lot for him to do that, because as we got a description of this guy before we even started, he's a person of great means, and he's also, I think, a person that is pretty unscrupulous, however that is. He's not afraid to do difficult things to enrich himself or to enrich his family or his company or what have you. And he's willfully ceding all of that, and he's still alive. He's just giving it over, right? Because he feels, I think, enough grief or finally a sense of conscience, maybe, that he wants to control, or that he has such a sense of control past his own death that he says, I want this to happen. There's been a lie or a facade placed here, and it's my fault, but this is the way it's got to go. It's really interesting here. When I said I think this is the twins speaking, it says, if our Father's word is true, we are bastards too. It's a riddle. No. It's a caper. No. A mockery. No. A deception. No. They're having a hard time believing it, is what I'm getting from that. And my sickly daughter, looking on bewildered, a jewel in our hierarchy, my exalted successor, rise. So that's where we get it, y'all. It's right in the Testament there. So let's move on to paragraph 6 and see what happens next, friends. Off we go. So 1/4, 1D, I think. Power chords: D, F, G. The melodies that they're weaving through these changes, other metal bands should take a note. It makes such a difference in the way the music lands. What a voice. You will reside beneath the spires, a house to grant in air. Woo! That's a tritone, right? More tritones. They're all over this. As I bid farewell. Forge your trail. pretty great solo to fit in with the story around everything. Wow. Okay. Up a step. And back down. Just parallel motion. That's a riff that doesn't end, y'all. Is that Rado? It's definitely an arrival point. Whew. I think musically and lyrically, that was the big culmination of a lot of the story, kind of the climactic point of it. They've got the pacing just right. If I wasn't talking in between these and they just flowed from one to another, I think the pacing is pretty darn good, y'all. And that's how this one's going to end. Only two more to go. The last paragraph, and then a song that's actually got a title. So in this one, in paragraph 6, I think the big culmination is Forge Your Trail. It's set apart lyrically. And I think it encapsulates everything that's around it here. This patriarch of ours is encouraging his family to accept what he's telling them and to break what he sees as a cycle of behavior that's caused him to get where he is, and for deceptions to have been made. He wants them to try to leave it as much as they can and move on. It's up to the next generation to rise above the mistakes that he has made. I think that applies in any generational handoff, right? Whether there's a lot of money and inheritance involved or not. These are human things, you know, and especially when there's secrets and deception and facades. Feelings can get hurt, lives can get ruined. It's a lot of stuff. And I think, especially here at the end, it's apparent that our patriarch has faith and believes in redemption. The last lines of the song reveal this. God is watching over you. He will guide the way. He is river of grace through the barren state of our time. And I think he's encouraging his family to seek out that redemption, that grace, and keep moving and keep going. Let's see. vanquish mythology, drain the well, burn the orchard, break the spell, purge the darkness as I bid farewell, forge your own trail. That's where I think it really kind of comes down to it. Really, really fascinating stuff, y'all. So on to paragraph 7. As I look at this particular chapter's lyrics, it looks like this is the last of the will and testament. It's coming to a close. We're getting to the end. And so, the previous song is, I think, going to be the thematic and I think the musical climax of the entire album, unless there's something big in the postlude that's going to happen that I don't know about yet. But let's move on and see how paragraph 7 sounds and how this thing concludes. Off we go. Doesn't sound optimistic off the bat, does it? The organ, that's rad. No, that's a tritone. From there, these diminished chords, you can go anywhere you want. I should do a behind the score on how diminished chords can get you anywhere. And now,
Part of paragraph 7, I bestow upon you both a number of artifacts of immense personal value to me. Wearing the family crest, I hope they can serve as a reminder of the fragility of heritage.
so he's saying goodbye. Nuts. This is the groggiest death metal I've ever heard, y'all.
Effectively, these heirlooms are in essence worthless. Still, I consider them a token of my innermost sympathy. Pass them on to generations to come.
Piano. Now the Fender Rhodes.
The liberation of the wealthy once perpetually shackled by greed. The wretched instead, elated and basking in solace.
I can't figure out the meter. They're shifting. Shed no tears on your maker's tomb. So that's the end of it. Deus Patriam Rex Sanguis. God, country, king, family. I think in that order. Another tritone. It's like do, re, fi. Do. That's a G, I think. A. D flat. Right? That can be a very optimistic motive if it's a C sharp, and it can also be just diabolical if you put a flat on it and treat it as a diminished fifth. That's cool. That's how it's gonna fade out. This is pretty intense, y'all. I'm having a grand old time following this music in this story. So, we've got one more, and it's a song called A Story Never Told. And I think it's separate and apart from the events of what's just taken place. So for all intents and purposes, the main story has concluded. And I think in the end, it's fascinating to observe the patriarch understanding that the family heirlooms are going to be worthless. Yet he still values them, and he really wants them to continue to be owned and cherished by generations of family members to come. And we get that with kind of perpetuate my memory, but also juxtaposed against him saying, plot your new course and overcome my misdeeds and shortcomings. You can do it. Go with God type of thing. It's an interesting thing there. And the Latin at the end, he says, Deus Patriam Rex Sanguis. And that is, I think, his ranking of allegiances in order. First to God, Deus, and then Patriam, which is country, and then Rex, the king or ruler, and then Sanguis, which is family. I'm just looking at the lyrics. The lyrics are really dense, y'all, but they're wonderful. You can follow them. Like I said, it's not like obtuse rock lyrics. These are erudite. It almost reads like prose. And it's a major accomplishment for the band and Michael's specifically to incorporate such wordy language in music like this, especially when it's not his first language. It's pretty damn incredible, y'all. So let's go to A Story Never Told and see how this thing actually ends. As I have read, this moves us, I think, several years into the future after the events of the reading of the Last Will and Testament have been read. So I think, this is where the main part of the movie would come to black, and then the screen would fade up on like 10 years later or 15 years later or something like that. That's what I think is going on here. So let's finish it out, y'all. Here is A Story Never Told. Off we go. Huh. It's like 5 to 4. No. 7 to 5 to 7 to 6 to 5. 1. That's it. More flute. That sounds like 4.
There's a road that leads to home, stories never told. A story never told. A man that saved a child.
Man that saved a child.
His withered heart on hold.
His withered heart on hold.
Beating for a life. There's a road that leads to home and stories never told.
Whoa! Try tone in the back. Beautiful.
Now just a name and soon forgotten tales. Kind of full circles of the
This track is more my speed personally, y'all. No growls. You got strings, you got piano, you got lyrical melodies. You got the flute in there.
man's withered heart on hold. Sarah's wears a stranger's eyes.
His heiress wears a stranger's eyes. That's different from what it was before. Beautiful. Direct modulation. Not just up a step, I think we went up a third. we're done with the words, by the way, y'all. I'm just gonna play us out. They just moved here because the guitarist wanted to solo in E minor. That lands on the minor 4. Major 4. Minor, then keeps going. Straight to the minor, there. That's the major 4 chord. Interesting. Does that have any meaning in the end, or is it just a cool way to do it with a slightly different chord? And it fades out. The Last Will and Testament. It's a heck of an album, y'all. I need to look, because I'm not sure what the story never told is. Maybe we can figure it out. A story never told. A child in for a surprise. A mother's heart on hold. A father well disguised. Clues. Okay, a child in for surprise. Probably the girl. A mother's heart on hold. Her mother was the maid, right? A father well disguised. That doesn't make any sense because it's the patriarch, right? There is a road that leads to home and stories never told. A story never told, a man that saved a child, his withered heart on hold, beating for a lie. The lie that he told his family that it wasn't his, but it actually was. But the girl actually was his. I don't know. Now just a name in soon forgotten tales and guileful circles of the past. A story never told, and waiting in the skies, a man's withered heart on hold, his heiress wears a stranger's eyes. That's how it ends. His heiress wears a stranger's eyes. So, is all of it a lie? Is the lie a lie? Was the whole thing a ruse? That's what I'm wondering. Because if his heiress, meaning the girl, wears a stranger's eyes, then that means to me that he actually isn't her father. The family never believed that he was her actual father, but he told them that he was in the Last Will and Testament. Come 15, 20 years later, the story that actually wasn't told was, actually, you're not mine. What about the twin boys? Were they his actual sons? Did the patriarch somehow concoct this story because he wanted to undermine the twins' inheritance and give it to the girl instead? that wasn't actually his, but the only way he could do it was to say that she was. And meanwhile, the mother, a mother's heart on hold. I thought her mom was gonna die, but maybe her mom just went away and just surrendered the maid, right? The maid surrendered the girl to the patriarch's family. I think we're gonna really find out here. I haven't read this yet, but in an interview with Kerrang, Michael revealed this as further explanation. He says now his wife has also passed away. So go back to the patriarch. The patriarch was dying, wrote this last will and testament. His wife was still alive, right? But as we learned about her at the beginning of the story, she was infertile. I believe the twins came about by like some sort of fertilization technique or something like that. But he said, Michael says, now his wife has also passed away, but she kind of knew it was her husband being unfaithful, and the child is still brought up in the house. She is a blood heir. She inherits everything. Then the testament ends, and the last song, The Story Never Told, comes in. Okay, so what do I have wrong? What do I have wrong? We're getting the end of the story here. She knew it was her husband being unfaithful. She knew it was the patriarch being unfaithful. The girl is still brought up in the house. She is a blood heir. She inherits everything. And then the testament ends, and then we get this last song. Okay, this is what I want to really focus on. So the girl's now living in a mansion, in the mansion. She's got it all. But then a letter arrives. It's from her mother, the maid, saying, I lied to your father. You are the result of another love affair. You are the result of another love affair. He was never your father. This is like some Star Wars stuff, right? So that's the kind of twist of the story. The patriarch was sterile. Did the patriarch... So that's from Michael. Michael says that. That's the twist of the story. The patriarch was sterile. This would make a hell of a movie. Broadway show or something. Right? Heck of a story. So I wonder if the patriarch knew he was infertile. And by some magic or by some, twist of fate, through infidelity with the maid, she became pregnant. And the maid, lies to the dad, lies to the patriarch and says, she's your daughter. So maybe the patriarch... I'd have to hear it again and read through it again to really get into the real weeds if I wanted to, Trying to figure out if the whole will and testament itself was a deception. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's what he thought. And maybe it's what the patriarch actually understood. And then the story never told is the story from the mom. It's a fun thing, isn't it? We get 51 minutes of big time prog music with metal tinged everywhere, with their special harmonic language. And we get this really cool story, integrated story throughout as part of it. It's a heck of a daring recording to make. It's a lot of work. There's not much that's really commercial about that. You know, what singles are going to come from that? I think I know they released the first track, and I think that could work. The last track could work too, but it doesn't really make any sense out of context. None of it does. And that's the mark of a really good integrated musical story, is that each individual part doesn't really stand on its own. It's when you connect them that it's rock solid. And when it's heard in its entirety, that's the idea, right? It's just a wonderful experience. It really is. I don't know what to say, friends. There was a lot of. I mean, Michael has his own musical language. It's really unique. He wasn't trained in any classical sense, but he has so much creativity and ways of finding, I think, patterns on the fretboard. And he's not afraid to go to them because he's never been told that that's not in the style or that's unwise or somehow bad, you know. I was certain for years that Locrian mode was a synthetic mode because you couldn't really have a tonic note where the fifth itself was diminished. You can't establish any sort of hierarchy of tonality if the dominant isn't in the scale. Think when I say Locrian, that is it compares to a minor scale, but the second scale degree is lowered and the fifth scale degree are lowered. Both of them. It's like B to B on the white keys. Half step up is C, and then B to F. It's not F sharp, it's an F natural. So the fifth note of that scale just can't reinforce ever the tonic note because it's diminished. And for a long time, I was like, yeah, let me hear a song that's actually in Locrian. A lot of this works with a tonic note, and we never, hardly ever hear a perfect fifth above it. It's the tritone above it. And then we're using that going down to the fourth. And then we're using that almost as an axis. Instead of 5-4-1, it's flat 5 to 4 to 1. And the really inventive melodies throughout, the riffs that go on longer than you think that they're going to go on, the riffs that are doubled, that have strings with them, that are in just strings or in just the flute, all of these contrapuntal complementary melodies. That's where it's at, friends. That's where the seasoning is. If the whole thing is a platter of food, season it, right? It can be rock solid and done perfectly, cooked perfectly, but if you don't season it right, it's not going to be received with all of the flourish and, you know, greatness that went into it. You know, it makes a difference. It really, really does. Well, friends, episode 81. I still love doing these. We do about 24 a year. 24 brand new albums to us every year. And I'm happy to get to this one. It's one of the newest albums we've gotten to after it's been released. The full release of this album was less than a month ago. And here it is on an extended play lounge. How about that? It's nice to vary things, I think, and this definitely is a little different than the stuff that we've had recently, but it's great stuff, friends. The prog fans, if that was a little heavy for you, I personally don't like the growls. In this context, I think that the growls took on a personality trait. in the voice of the patriarch. And I think it was an interesting musical choice. That's why I didn't really say anything negative about it. It's not my cup of tea for a musical aesthetic, but I think the choice makes sense to me. But what they were doing that I thought was quite inventive was taking a lot of these sort of death metal riffs and death metal progressions and treating them in a proggy way and giving us enough of a break from the heavy sounds with some strings, some mellotron, some flute, some piano. It breathed pretty well. I would have liked it to breathe a little more in places. I think that this album could have been extended by 5 or 10 minutes and not lost any power, and have some of these sections a little more developed instrumentally in between. But it's pretty damn rock solid, and it fits together like one big continual thought and continual scene. It's almost like a one-act play set to like progressive death metal. It's pretty damn cool, y'all. So this has been fun. And I believe it is our last Extended Play Lounge of 2024. And I think it's a fun way to finish out. The Last Will and Testament from Opeth. What is this? Their 14th studio album, just recently released last month. So thanks to y'all for voting for this one. It was a pleasure for me to hang out with you and listen to it together with all of you, and it was a fun one. So as to where we'll go in the new year, I haven't thought about it much yet, but we will take a little bit of a break here for the last few weeks of the year, and then we'll get back at it. I'm sure we'll have a bangin' Extended Play Lounge episode 82 to start the new year in the first week or two of the new year, and look for a poll or some sort of indication from me as to where we're going with that. But until then, friends, I wish you a great holiday season, and again, wishes of thanks and heartfelt thanks for all of your support. These are fun for me to do. It feels great to interpret this music and know that there's a bunch of you that are eager to follow along with me and get as much out of this great music as we can and enjoy ourselves while we're doing it. It's pretty fun, isn't it? So, Opeth, The Last Will and Testament, Extended Play Lounge, episode number 81. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Dog.